last week we talked about Alysa Liu. I'll talk about why I'm saying Alysa Liu later on. But we talked about Alysa Liu through that lens of the idea of sustainability and the idea of maximizing fun. We actually got quite a bit of feedback on that video, which took off a little bit on our channel. And I wanted to start with some feedback from KS- and I think it's LP3UI, who says, there are several factual errors in this video. One, Alysa was 12 during the 2018 Olympics. She was too young to compete at the junior international level that season, minimum age is 13. Two, Alysa was skating during COVID. She finished 6th at the 2022 Olympics at age 16. Then she goes on and says, number 4, Alyssa's dad is an immigration lawyer, not a doctor, which we also got feedback from one Texan 1058. There's one other piece of feedback that we got about the pronunciation of Alyssa's name, which I had thought was Alysa Liu. Doc corrected us to say it was Alysa Liu, but the story here is actually a little more complicated. And, forgive my diversion here because it's actually kind of interesting. So the first thing that sent me down this trail was a comment from Kristen AB3838 on our channel that says, Alysa has requested that the media say her name Liu, even though she herself pronounces it Liu. So it's not ignorance on the media's part. It is a request of the athlete. So I did some digging because I was like, this seems kind of weird. Mm-hmm. And maybe that is why I was pronouncing it Liu, because I thought there was some reason that I was pronouncing it there. I didn't have cognition about what that was. So the first thing I thought of was this website that people were kind of actually memeing on throughout all the Olympics, where the athletes have a bio and some of their statistics, and they actually say their own name. And I'm assuming they recorded it on their iPhone or something like that and uploaded it to this website. So neutrally, can we play the clip of Alysa pronouncing her own name?
Alysa Liu. Alysa.
There you go. Alysa Liu. So I was like, okay, well, that settles it. It's Alysa Liu. Doc was 100% right. But I thought I remember there was a reason that I pronounced it Liu. And so I was like, I got to go a little bit deeper. And of course, this comment was pointing me in that direction too. And so I went down a rabbit hole and found this clip of one of the figure skating kind of like media heads, basically talking about the experience of what happened in terms of why like NBC was pronouncing it Liu, why I was pronouncing it Liu, and why this is kind of a unique situation. So neutrally, can we play that clip?
And then the other thing I wanted to address in the chat is Alysa Liu has told us to pronounce her name as Alysa Liu, because there was a time when all of us, including NBC, because that's, the NBC, including Michelle and many of the researchers, makes sure to get the names pronounced as the skater wants it to be pronounced. NBC was pronouncing it Alysa Liu. I was pronouncing it Alysa Liu. As, the Taiwanese spelling of that Chinese name would give you, it should be pronounced Liu, but she has asked the media to pronounce it Liu.
Yeah. She pronounces it Liu, but she wants us to say Liu.
But she wants us to say Liu. And also, there are many skaters who, for example, Luke Wang, who pronounces it Wang instead of what it should be pronounced as, which is Wong. And so all of those questions around why are you pronouncing it Liu and you're pronouncing it incorrectly, it is not because we're pronouncing it incorrectly. It is because that is what Alysa Liu has asked us to pronounce it as.
So Doc in the chat with some real-time follow-up says, of course I'm right. But anyway, that is why I've been pronouncing it Liu and will continue to pronounce it Liu, is because that is what she's requested we, as the media, continue to pronounce it as. Reggie's smiling at me.
I know, it's just funny that we're talking about this because, I mean, the different angles and directions you can go with how to pronounce someone's name is just endless. And it's just comedic that she created another direction by saying, hey, I pronounce it like this, but I want you to pronounce it this way. And then secondly, that guy's podcast, he needs to get a photo on his co-host's call-in or something.
There's a little thing in the bottom corner where jokes and it says like, oh, this person's invisible or something like that. Yeah.
Oh